the true face of evil, and the Stoic path to protect yourself. Have you ever felt completely drained just by being around someone? Not because they yell, argue, or openly attack, but because their presence slowly chips away at your confidence, your peace, your sense of self. They don't wear horns, or carry knives, or dress in black cloaks. They strike with charming compliments, conditional kindness, and cold indifference when you need them most. These people are what we call toxic, but from a Stoic perspective, they are more than that. They are those who live in defiance of reason, virtue, and the natural bond that connects all human beings. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." But before you can truly become good, you must first know how to defend yourself against those who aren't. In this video, you will learn how to recognize 10 clear signs that someone around you may be subtly or deliberately bringing darkness into your life. Not to judge them, not to become bitter, but to protect your inner peace, to set boundaries, to respond, not react, and above all, to rise above them with clarity, courage, and self-mastery the way a true Stoic would. Because evil isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers. And today, we'll learn how to hear it and walk away stronger than ever. 1. The manipulator, when trust becomes a weapon. I once had a friend I trusted deeply. He seemed generous, supportive, even kind. He was always there, ready to help, as long as I followed his lead. But the moment I started listening to my own instincts, making decisions for myself, that support began to wither. It was replaced by subtle guilt trips, quiet disappointments, and backhanded remarks like, "I just want what's best for you." That's the insidious nature of manipulation. It rarely comes from strangers. It comes from those closest to us, from people we thought were allies. Manipulators don't want you to grow stronger. They want you to grow dependent. They don't build you up. They quietly dismantle your self-belief piece by piece until you can no longer trust your own judgment without their approval. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is unaware of his chains," and manipulation is just that, chains dressed in kindness. They use your empathy, your loyalty, and your hope against you. And by the time you realize it, you're already doubting your worth, questioning your sanity, and believing they're the only one who truly understands you. So what's the Stoic response? Autonomy, self-mastery. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Don't react. Don't explain yourself to someone who's twisting your truth. Detach, observe, and quietly reclaim your independence. You don't need their approval to know your path. You need clarity. And that clarity lives not in their validation, but in your own inner light. Let it guide you. 2. The mask of charm, when a smile hides a knife. There's a kind of person who walks into a room and immediately captures attention. Their words are smooth, their compliments sincere, at least on the surface. They make you feel seen, valued, even special. But something doesn't quite add up. Their kindness feels rehearsed, their empathy feels curated. This is the dangerous power of charm when it's used to deceive. The Stoics taught us that appearances can be illusions, and Marcus Aurelius warned, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Evil doesn't always appear cruel. Sometimes it wears a dazzling smile, and charm, when wielded without virtue, is not connection, it's control. I once knew someone who seemed like the perfect friend. He had a compliment for everyone, a story that made you laugh, a shoulder when you cried. But only later did I realize his charm was selective, purposeful. Behind the praise was a pattern. He used kindness to gain access, to earn trust, and when you had nothing left to give, he vanished, or worse, turned against you. Real goodness doesn't demand attention. it doesn't need a performance. It shows up quietly in consistency, in respect, in how someone treats those who have nothing to offer in return. So how do you protect yourself? Start by listening to your intuition. If someone feels too good to be true, look deeper. Watch how they behave when they have nothing to gain. Stoic wisdom reminds us, truth doesn't wear a mask. Virtue stands on its own. Don't be blinded by surface shine. Character is never skin deep. And if you sense that someone's light is just a reflection meant to dazzle you, don't stare too long. Turn inward. That's where real clarity lives. 3. Lies without conscience, when truth is just an obstacle. Some people lie to protect themselves. Others lie to protect an image. But the truly dangerous ones, they lie because deception is their second nature. For them, truth is not sacred, it's inconvenient. It's something to be twisted, rephrased, or ignored entirely if it doesn't serve their agenda. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it." To the Stoics, honesty wasn't a virtue, it was a requirement for living a meaningful life. Yet some people treat truth like clay, something to mold and reshape until you no longer recognize what's real. I once worked with someone who constantly exaggerated their achievements. At first, it was harmless small embellishments, amusing stories. But eventually, those lies began to affect others. He took credit for things he didn't do, rewrote conversations to suit his narrative, and when confronted, he didn't apologize. Instead, he deflected, made excuses, and accused others of misunderstanding. That's how manipulators protect their lies, by making you question your memory, your perception, even your sanity. But here's the Stoic truth. Reality doesn't need your defense. It stands on its own, and lies, no matter how elaborate, always require maintenance. So how do you respond to chronic deceit? Don't waste energy debating. Observe their patterns. Look for inconsistencies between words and actions. When someone tells you who they are through repeated dishonesty, believe them. Epictetus taught that freedom comes when we stop being slaves to false impressions. You don't have to catch every lie or win every argument. Your power lies in choosing clarity over confusion, integrity over illusion. Because in a world of noise and distortion, your commitment to truth is not only a shield, it's a compass. Let it point you away from those who cannot face it. 4. Lack of empathy. A heart of stone behind a human face. You're sitting across from someone, opening up about something that hurts, truly hurts. Maybe you lost something, maybe you feel broken, and instead of comfort, they brush it off. That's nothing, they say. You think that's bad. Let me tell you what happened to me. In that moment, your pain becomes invisible. This is what a lack of empathy looks like. Not screaming, not insults, but indifference. A cold absence where warmth should be, and it cuts just as deep. Seneca once wrote, "We are born for each other." To the Stoics, empathy wasn't a luxury, it was a part of our shared human nature. We are social beings, meant to live in harmony, to feel each other's joy and pain. But those who lack empathy, they sever that connection. They see people as tools, not souls. They listen just long enough to shift the spotlight back to themselves. They may even smile when you stumble, not out of cruelty, but because your pain makes them feel superior. I remember a conversation with someone I once trusted. I was going through something heavy. I needed space to breathe, to speak, to be understood. But every word I shared became an opportunity for comparison or dismissal. I left the conversation feeling lonelier than before. And that's the danger. Empathy isn't just about kindness, it's about validation. Without it, we start to question our emotions, our experiences, our worth. So how do we respond when faced with emotional voids? We protect our peace. We stop expecting warmth from a cold heart. As Marcus Aurelius said, "No more talk about what a good man should be. Be one." If others refuse to feel with you, let that be a mirror, not a measure. Don't allow someone else's emptiness to hollow you out. Instead, surround yourself with those who sit with your sorrow without trying to erase it, who lift your spirit, not by comparison, but by compassion. Because true connection isn't built through grand gestures, it's felt in the quiet spaces where someone simply says, "I see you, and I'm here." 5. The hunger for control, when they want to own your mind. Some people don't just want influence, they want ownership. Not just of your time or attention, but of your decisions, your doubts, even your thoughts. At first it feels like guidance, thoughtful advice, supportive concern, but soon every choice you make seems to require their approval. You begin to second-guess yourself. Maybe they know better. You feel paralyzed without their input, and that is precisely the trap. True manipulators don't chain you with force, they wrap you in a web of self-doubt. I once knew someone like that. Whenever I had an idea, he'd gently correct it. "It's good, but I think this way might be better." Every failure was a reason I should have listened. Every success somehow became his influence. Over time, I stopped trusting my instincts. I stopped acting without permission. It took me years to realize I was no longer steering my own ship. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics understood, control over others is an illusion. Control over ourselves, that's true mastery. But toxic people fear that truth, because if you become independent, they lose their hold. So, how do you take your mind back? Start by noticing who makes you feel smaller after every interaction, who questions your capacity to decide, who makes you feel like without them, you're lost. Then, ask yourself the most powerful question a Stoic can offer. Does this align with my values? If the answer is no, step away, gently but firmly. You don't need to argue, you don't need to explain, just reclaim your mind. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." And it begins with one simple act, choosing your own thoughts over someone else's control. Because the most sacred space you'll ever protect is the space between your ears. Guard it like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. 6. Blame and deflection, the art of avoiding accountability. There's a kind of person who's never wrong. They could miss a deadline, cause a crisis, say something cruel, and somehow it always circles back to someone else's fault. The traffic, the system, your tone of voice, the way you made them feel. Everything is fair game for blame, except the one place it belongs, within. Seneca wrote, "It is the power of a great mind to rise above injury and insult." But some people never rise. Instead, they point, they twist, they deflect. And in doing so, they not only avoid accountability, they make you question whether you're the problem. I once collaborated with someone on a creative project. When things fell apart, instead of working through it, she subtly blamed my organization, my tone, my lack of clarity. At first, I tried to fix everything. I apologized, overcompensated, doubted myself. But then I noticed the pattern. It wasn't about solutions, it was about shifting shame. Blame is a shield for the fragile ego. People who constantly deflect aren't protecting the truth. They're protecting their image. And that's the Stoic insight. The truth needs no defense. It stands calmly. But lies? Lies are loud. They require scaffolding explanations, stories, scapegoats. So what should you do? First, anchor yourself in facts. When someone tries to rewrite reality, hold steady. Don't be swept up in their emotional spin. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for it is the truth I seek. But if someone never changes, never admits fault, never seeks truth, then it's not growth thereafter, it's dominance. And your job isn't to carry their guilt for them. Your job is to stay grounded in your values, your clarity, and your integrity. Because peace doesn't come from being right, it comes from being honest, even when others won't, especially when they won't." 7. The pleasure of pain, when someone smiles at your suffering. There's a certain kind of silence that feels louder than words. The silence of someone who doesn't comfort you when you fall, who doesn't lift a finger when you're in pain, who maybe even enjoys it. It starts small, maybe a sarcastic smirk when you make a mistake, a subtle laugh when you're embarrassed, a dismissive shrug when something you care about goes wrong. At first, you tell yourself it's nothing. Maybe they're just insensitive. Maybe they didn't mean it. But then it happens again and again. And you begin to realize your suffering isn't just being ignored, it's being savored. This is perhaps one of the darkest traits of the toxic soul, the quiet satisfaction they get from your setbacks. Epictetus advised, "Associate with those who make you better, but those who enjoy your misery, they don't want you better. They want you broken, because when you rise, it threatens them. Your growth highlights their stagnation. Your joy reminds them of what they lack." I once knew someone who never celebrated anything with me. Every success was met with indifference, or worse, comparison. But every time I stumbled, there was a strange spark in their eyes, like they finally felt balanced. That's when I understood. Some people don't want to climb, they want to pull others down to their level. Not out of hatred, but out of emptiness. So how do you respond? First, stop justifying their behavior. It's not tough love. It's not just their personality. It's a sign of emotional rot. Then, distance yourself not in anger, but in self-respect. Seneca taught us, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity," but toxic people don't face adversity, they inflict it. And your light? It doesn't belong in places that celebrate your shadow. So keep shining, not out of revenge, but out of truth. Because the best response to someone who rejoices in your pain is to heal loudly, grow unapologetically, and keep rising far beyond their reach. 8. Isolation as a weapon, when they pull you away to pull you down. At first, it feels like protection. They don't really understand you, they say. Your friend doesn't have your best interest at heart. Your family just doesn't get how special you are. It sounds like concern. It feels like intimacy. But over time, you realize, one by one, your relationships are fading. The calls become less frequent. The trust you had in others becomes blurred. And slowly, you begin to feel alone, but with them. This is how emotional isolation works, not through violence, but through suggestion, not by walls, but by whispers. It's a strategy as old as manipulation itself. Sever your support system, and you become easier to control. Marcus Aurelius believed, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." Stoicism teaches us that our strength comes not from solitude, but from healthy connection. But toxic individuals distort that truth. They position themselves as the only one who truly gets you, while poisoning every other bond you hold dear. I experienced this once. A person I trusted would often question my friendships. Are they really loyal? Why didn't they show up for you? I'm always the one here, aren't I? Little by little, I stopped reaching out, not because others had changed, but because I was made to question them. And once you're isolated, their power becomes absolute. So how do we counter it? We reconnect with clarity. Revisit the people who've stood by you, the ones who have loved you without control, without fear, without strings. Ask yourself, who helps me grow without needing to shrink others? The Stoics never taught us to isolate ourselves from community. They taught us to rise above corruption and return to harmony. Because when you are surrounded by people who want your highest good, manipulation loses its grip. So, if someone in your life constantly drives wedges between you and others, step back and ask, are they building a bond with you or a cage? And if it's the latter, remember, you were never meant to live inside someone else's prison. You were meant to walk freely among those who love you in the light. 9. Jealousy in disguise, when praise is just a mask for envy. You did great, but don't get too confident. That's impressive, though I heard someone else did it faster. You're really good, but maybe next time you should aim higher. These words sound like encouragement. They wear the tone of helpfulness, but there's something beneath them, something cold. You walk away not feeling proud, but unsure. That quiet voice in your head whispers, was I really good enough? This is jealousy in disguise. Seneca once said, envy is the ulcer of the soul, and the truly envious don't always throw insults. Instead, they disguise their envy as advice. They wrap it in concern. They deliver it with a smile. I once had a colleague who praised every project I completed, only to follow it with a gentle nudge of criticism. Not to help me improve, but to bring me down just enough to dim my light. The compliments weren't food for growth. They were sugar-coated barbs aimed at my confidence. Jealousy doesn't want you to fail. It wants you to shrink, to doubt yourself just enough to never rise too high. Because your success, your joy, your light, shines a little too brightly next to someone still sitting in their own shadow. So how does a Stoic respond? With stillness, with clarity, with inner confidence. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When someone tries to plant seeds of doubt, you do not have to water them. You do not have to internalize what was never born from love. Real encouragement uplifts without needing to subtract. Real friends cheer without adding conditions. So, if someone in your life consistently leaves you feeling smaller after praise, pay attention. Their words may be sweet, but their intent is sour. And remember, you are not here to make others comfortable with your potential. You are here to grow, to expand, to shine. Do it boldly, and let those who can't celebrate you fall away like shadows at sunrise. 10. The unrepentant heart, when they never admit, never reflect, never change. There's something haunting about someone who never says, I'm sorry. Not because they never make mistakes, we all do, but because even when they hurt others, even when the damage is clear, they stand firm, justifying, deflecting, minimizing, never owning anything. Never learning, never changing. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. But those with unrepentant hearts are more interested in appearing good than becoming good. They see apology as weakness, reflection as unnecessary, and growth as optional. I once confronted someone about the pain they caused not with anger, but with vulnerability. I thought we could talk, heal, move forward. Instead, they accused me of being dramatic, of taking things the wrong way. They flipped the narrative so thoroughly that I walked away wondering if I was the one who needed to apologize. That is the most exhausting part of dealing with an unrepentant person, not just their actions, but the gaslight they ignite in your soul. To the Stoics, this is not just poor behavior, it's a fundamental failure of virtue. Epictetus taught that wisdom begins with self-awareness. But when someone refuses to acknowledge their harm, they block the very doorway to their own humanity. So what do? We stop expecting them to change. We stop bleeding ourselves dry, hoping for closure from those who are incapable of offering it. Instead, we focus inward. We reflect on our role, take what we can learn, and then we move forward. Because not everyone deserves a second, third, or 10th chance to harm you. And not everyone is on a journey of growth. Some are committed to the story that they are never wrong. Let them live in that story without you in it. You are not here to fix what someone else refuses to even see. You are here to evolve, to rise, to live with integrity even when others don't. And in the end, your willingness to reflect, to own your growth, to say, "I was wrong" when needed, is what sets you free. Because strength isn't stubbornness, strength is humility. And freedom begins the moment you stop waiting for someone else to change and become the change yourself. Conclusion: the miracle of awareness and the power of inner sovereignty. You can't stop evil from existing in the world, but you can stop it from taking root in your mind, your heart, your spirit. Stoic philosophy doesn't teach us to run away from toxic people. It teaches us to stand firm, to guard our peace, and to remain rational in the face of emotional storms. It reminds us that while we can't control who enters our life, we can always choose who stays. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. You decide who is allowed to occupy space in your inner world. And once you understand that, no manipulator, no deceiver, no shadow can steal your light without your permission. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So, choose thoughts that empower, choose boundaries that protect, choose truth over illusion, and peace over chaos. And remember, light has never feared the darkness, but light must be protected, nurtured, honored. So guard your soul the way a Stoic warrior guards their virtue, calmly, firmly, without apology. If today's message resonated with you, I invite you to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more Stoic insights to strengthen your mind and elevate your life. Because your journey doesn't end here, it begins with awareness, and with the daily decision to protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does.